ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। We are studying the Brahma Sutras, the commentary of Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya Deva on the fourth sutra. And here today we will see the section where Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya, he says emphatically that what is being talked of, that is Brahman or Atman, is definitely something which is talked of by the Upanishads. And so Upanishads unanimously in one voice talk of the Atman or Brahman. He says, Yadapi kechit ahuhu pravritti nivritti vidhi tat shesha vyatirekena kevala vastuvadi veda bhagaha nasti iti tat na. Yadapi, though, kechit, some, ahuhu, say, though some people are of the opinion that pravritti nivritti vidhi tat shesha vyatirekena, vyatirekena, other than. Pravritti, pravritti, injunction. The instruction in the Vedas that one should do something. Nivritti, prohibition. The instruction in the Vedas that one should abstain from doing something or one should not do something. Vidhi, vidhi means instruction. So the instruction to do or not do something. Tat shesha, also things that are subsidiary to these instructions. Shesha means subsidiary to these instructions, those that are auxiliary, ancillary to these instructions. Vyatirek and other than these kind of instructions. Kevala vastuvadi. Kevala, merely, just. Vastuvadi, that which talks of, that which presents. Vastu, vastu means an entity that is already existing. An entity that is already existing. So that which brings the talk or puts in context or puts forth something that is already existing, other than Vyatireka, other than that which is instructed to be done, or that which is instructed to not to be done, or things which are necessary to follow these instructions, which are auxiliary, ancillary, or subsidiary to these instructions. Other than these instructions, kevala vastuvadi, mere passages which are talking about something which is already existing. Veda bhagaha, parts of Veda, such parts of Veda, na asti iti. They say that there are no parts of Vedas which talk of something other than injunction, prohibition, or things subsidiary to injunctions and prohibitions. There are no parts of Vedas which talk about entities that are already existing. That is the idea. And we all know from earlier discussions that these are the Mimamsa philosophers, Purva Mimamsa, Mimamsaka philosophers who hold this opinion, because they say that Vedoshara Vedanta, that Vedanta is like desert. Vedanta means Upanishads, like deserts in the Vedas. Desert, Ushara, desert. And Amnayasya Kriyarthatvat Atadarthanam Anarthakyam. So in the Mimamsa Sutra it is also said that Amnayasya Kriyarthat, Amnayasya, the purpose of Vedas is to perform some ritual, kriyarthatvat. Atadarthanam, those passages which do not have that meaning or do not fulfill that purpose are anarthakya. They are purposeless, they are useless. So here, to that contention, Shankaracharya, Bhagavad-pada Shankaracharya, he says that no, it is not so. Though some people say that, that is not really the case. Then what is the case? Aupanishadasya Purushasya Ananya Sheshatvat. Because the Purusha or the self which is talked of in the Upanishads, Aupanishada means that which is talked of in the Upanishad. Aupanishada. Aupanishadasya Purushasya, of the Purusha which is talked of in the Upanishads, Ananya Sheshatvat. It is subsidiary to nothing. It is Shesha, subsidiary to nothing. So it can never be subsidiary to anything because it is independent. The moment something becomes subsidiary to something else, it becomes dependent on something else. So here, the Purusha or the Atman or Brahman or the self, whatever you call it, it is independent. It can never be subsidiary to anything. So it is Ananya Sheshatvat. Because of its being independent, because of its being not being able to be, it cannot be, it is impossible for it to be subsidiary to something else. Therefore, what people say that other than prohibition, inhibition, prohibition or injunction or prohibition or things which are subsidiary to injunctions and prohibitions, other than these statements talking about an existing entity are not properly Veda, or their Vedas don't have such statements. That is not true, because Upanishads talk of a self which is without any subsidiary or which is not subsidiary of anything. Yaha asau Upanishadsu eva adhigatah purushah asamsari. There is another wonderful thing here, and the thing is that this Upanishad is the only source where this self is talked of, or this self can be found only in the Upanishads. You don't get evidence or proof of this self elsewhere. So, yo asau Upanishadsu eva adhigatah purushah. Asau purushah, this self, purushah, which is Upanishadsu eva adhigatah, which can be found only in the Upanishads. Upanishadsu eva adhigatah. That self, what is that self? It is asamsari. That self is asamsari. That means that self does not go through the cycle of transmigration. Means the self does not take birth, does not die. Does not take birth, does not die. Asamsari. And also it is Brahma Swarupaha. It is of the nature of Brahman. Means it is Brahman. It is of the nature of Brahman means what? It is Brahman. Utpadyadi Chaturvida Dravya Vilakshanaha. And it is free of 4 kinds of entities. Means it is not free, it is different. Vilakshanaha. Different from 4 kinds of entities. What 4 kinds of entities? Utpadya Adi. Utpadya means product, that which is produced. Utpanna, that which is produced is called Utpadya, product. So Utpadya, etc. Adi. Beginning with Utpadya, 4 kinds of things are there, which is different. So Brahman is different from these 4 kinds of things. What are these things? First is that which is produced, Utpadya. Second is that which is Vikarya, that which is modified. Vikara, that which goes through the process of modification. Vikara, Vikarya. And the third one is Samskarya. Samskarya, that which has been purified. So purified produced, modified, and finally that which is apya, that which is attained. So Brahman is none of these. Brahman is, or Atman, or Purusha, or Self is none of these. Self, of course, with a capital S, and also the Vedantic self. Self according to the thought of Vedanta. Now, Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. Now, so it is not Utpadya. Nothing can produce Brahman. If something were to produce Brahman, then automatically there would have been a cause for Brahman, and so it would not be the ultimate cause of this world, and so it would not be the ultimate principle, it would not be our true nature. So it is not Utpadya, it is not a product, it is not something which is produced. It is not Vikarya also, because if it is modified, then what was it before it was modified? And if it is subject to modification, means it is subject to death also. Same goes with produced also. If it is produced, that means it can be destroyed. So then it will lead to an absurd situation where the ultimate reality can be destroyed. So Brahman is not something which can be modified, because by very definition, Brahman means eternal. So if it is eternal, it cannot be modified. Then samskarya. Again, samskara or purification is nothing but a different kind of modification. So if it is purified or modified in the sense of its purity being increased, that means there is a change, there is a variation in Brahman. Wherever there is a change, it is unreal. Anything that is produced is unreal. Anything that is purified is unreal. Anything that is modified is unreal. So Brahman is real. It has to be real. Otherwise, it cannot be the ultimate principle. So it cannot be purified. It cannot be something which is purified. Then finally, you have apya, that which can be attained. Now, that makes sense because you attain Brahman, we say. But if you say it has to be attained, then how has it to be attained? Is it that it was not there and you have to produce? Then it will again fall under the category of produce, that which is produced. Or if it is already there and we have not understood it or we have not reached there, like Delhi is there, a person who is traveling from Bangalore has to reach Delhi. If that is the way you have to see the logic, then that means there is a difference in space. Delhi is separate from Bangalore or Bengaluru. So similarly, Brahman is separate from others. So there will be a problem in the finitude of space. That means Brahman is present only in some space, some location. It is not present everywhere. It is not omnipresent. If it is present only in some location, then what will happen? It will become unreal. As far as the other locations are concerned, it is unreal. It is not present. Or if one were to say, no, it is present everywhere, only a person does not know that after the person is, the veil of ignorance is removed, the person knows. So then it depends on time. That means it is not there all the time. Again, there is this problem of finitude. As far as time is concerned, that it is finite in time, then again, it will become unreal. So anything which falls under any of these categories is unreal. Brahman cannot fall in any of these categories. That is that which is produced, Utpadya, that which is modified, Vikarya, that which is purified, Samskarya, and that which is attained, Apya. So that is why Brahman is not any of these kinds of things. Utpadyadi Chaturvidha Dravya. Dravya means thing, entity. Vilakshanaha, it is separate, it is different from these four kinds of things which are produced, purified, modified, and attained. Swaprakaranastha. Also, it is Swaprakaranastha. That means it is Prakarana means part or section or context. Swaprakaranastha means it is established in its own context. It occurs in its own context or its own section. That means it is independent. It is not dependent on anything else. That is the idea here. Swaprakaranastaha. So it is independent of everything else. It does not depend on anything else. Then it is Ananya Sheshaha. We already saw it is not the subsidiary of anything. It is not subsidiary to anything. Na asau nasti na adhigamyate iti va shakyam vaditum. Also, it cannot be said that asau nasti, that it does not exist. That does not exist. You cannot say like that. That does not exist. So that means thatness is not there for it. Though we say tattvamasi, Shvetaketu, you are that. So there, that representing Brahman. But you, tat tvamasi, tvam also is representing Brahman. But in the manner of speaking, using the language, it is told in the Chandogya Upanishad, tat tvam asi, you are that. But there is no thatness to Brahman. It is called idam ta. Idam means this. Idam. So thisness, thatness, tat. So there is something tadanta and idanta. So that is something called thisness and thatness. What is this? That which is near you is this. What is that? That is comparatively farther from you is that. But in either case, it is different from you. It is different from you. So here, Brahman cannot be called that, or Brahman cannot be called this, because you are non-different from Brahman. So the idea is, asau nasti, that is not there, that does not exist, cannot be said, because it always exists. Also, na adhigamyate, it cannot be said that that does not, that is not known. That is not known. Like that, it cannot be said. Itiva shakyam vaditum means na vaditu. Na has been told in the beginning. We have discussed this earlier also. Very unique way of writing things in Sanskrit. First, you put the na and then say all this connected to na. That's all. No. Only one no is sufficient. Or one s also is sufficient. You don't need to type all the time. No, no, no. Na asau nasti na adhigamyate iti va shakyam vaditum na vaditum shakyam or vaditum na shakyam. Another beauty is put the word wherever in the sentence, it makes the same sense. Unlike other languages where you change the position of the word, the meaning changes. So, iti va shakyam vaditum. Why? It cannot be said that it is not there. No, no, no. Somebody is asking me, Swamiji, can you please explain Ananya Sheshaha again? Does it mean that nothing is excluded? No. Ananya Sheshaha means, here in this context, it means that it is not the Shesha of anything. Means Ananya Shesha means it does not have anything to which it is Shesha. Means it is not the subsidiary of anything. There is nothing to which it is subsidiary. That is the idea. So, na asau nasti. So one cannot say na shakyam vaditum. One cannot say that that is not there, that does not exist. One cannot say na adhigamyate. It cannot be understood. It cannot be understood or it cannot be known. That cannot be said. Why? Sa esha neti neti atma. So from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is quoted. Sa esha, that is this, neti neti, na iti, means not this, not this. Atma. Atma. So that is something which we understand by refuting what is seen. So I see a computer, I say, no, not this, not the computer. I see a building, I say, no, not this. I see a body, no, not this. I see a tree, no, not this. So whatever I see, which is impermanent, which is temporary, which is not eternal, which will be perishing sometime, which can be destroyed sometime, or sometime it will get destroyed by itself. So perishable, destructible. When I see something like that, I say Brahman is not this. Sa eshaha. But that is something where you say, no, it is not this. And Atma. So you get this by saying that it is not this. So by negating, by a process of negation, you attain the knowledge of Brahman. Iti Atma Shabdat. In this manner, through the word or by the word Atman, Atmanascha Pratyakyatum Ashakyatvat. So using the word Atman, one cannot Pratyakyatum, one cannot deny Atman. Atmanah. So by using the word Atman, one cannot deny the self. Atman, or the entity Atman. One cannot deny. Why one cannot deny? Because just like you deny other things which are destructible, which are not eternal, naiti, like that you cannot deny Atman, because Atman is not destructible. It is eternal. It is indestructible. It is imperishable. So it cannot be denied. Ashakyatvat, it is impossible for it to be denied. Ya eva nirakarta tasyaiva atmatvat. And why can't it be denied? The simple reason is ya eva nirakarta. Indeed, who is the person who is denying? The denier. Indeed, the denier, tasya eva atmatvat. That Atman or the state of Atman is belonging to that person. Because we are Indian, we will add one only. That person only. It belongs to that person. See, that satisfaction which comes by only, indeed, alone, and all these words don't give that satisfaction. Only is giving satisfaction. Tasyaiva atmatva. That person only. This Atman, state of Atman belongs to that person only. Who is denying, that person only it belongs to. And if for better, more emphasis, if we say, understood, then it is clear. Then it is no doubt. It is a English which is not the English they intended, but somehow understood. So tasyaiva atmatvat. It is the status of Atman, being Atman, is indeed of the denier. It is of the denier that the status of Atman is. And so therefore, it cannot be, using the word Atman, you cannot deny the status of self. You cannot deny self. Why you can't deny? Because who is self? The person who is denying, that person is the self. Not, of course, as the body-mind complex, but the true nature of that person is self. So it cannot be denied. And immediately, an objection is posited. An objection is raised here. Nano. So he said, no, that cannot be so. Why it cannot be so? Because Atma aham pratya vishayatvat upanishadsu eva vijnayate iti anupapannam. It is anupapannam, means it does not stand to logic. It is illogical. It is not reasonable. It is not plausible. Not upapanna. Upapanna means plausible, logical, reasonable. Anupapannam means it is not any of those. Why? Because aham pratyaya vishayatvat atma, aham pratyaya vishayatvat aham, I. Aham means I. Pratyaya means cognition. And vishaya means object. Tvat means because of it being. So because of Atman being the object of the cognition of I, or I cognition. We always have this idea, I. And so that cognition, that pratyaya, that cognition, that knowledge, for its object, what does it have? Atman. Why do I have I? Because of Atman. And so, how can you say Upanishadsu eva vijnayate? You got it all wrong. All the time we say this I. And then if you ask anybody, they will say, yo, I means this. Who am I? That I, you are this I. That's all. Simple. So why are you saying Upanishadsu eva vijnayate? That it is known only through Upanishads. No, it is known through our common experience, where aham pratyaya vishaya, it is the object of the cognition, I sense of I. So immediately it is rejected by Bhagavad-pada Shankaracharya. He says, no, it is not so. Tat sakshitvena pratyuktatvad. Why it is not so? Because that I, you think that it is it is understood by you, but no, that tat sakshitvena, that I is seen, witnessed by sakshi, the self. You think that you are witnessing I. No, you are not witnessing. Self is witnessing. Witness is somebody else. What you witness, no murder happened. There only that fellow fell down. What an example. Okay. People who love crime thrillers will understand. Others don't understand. Not many people are there. So anyway, manage. So a person falls, another person sees from a distance, thinks that that fellow has fallen and died. And so this fellow says, yes, I saw he was killed. No. You saw that fellow falling. Another fellow came and killed, and that another eyewitness is there. Similarly, here, aham pratyaya, you think that you are understanding, or that this aham pratyaya, this object of aham pratyaya is Atman. No, aham pratyaya is witnessed by self, Atman. So it is sakshi, it is not the object of the I cognition. It is just a sakshi. It is not attached, or it is not affected by this I cognition, aham pratyaya. So sakshitvena yuktatvat. So tat sakshitvena, this has been refuted. Prati uktatvat, this has been refuted. It has been refuted that this idea that I cognition comes from the object of I cognition is Atma, that has been refuted. That has been refuted. How has it been refuted? It has been refuted by saying that tat sakshitvena, that it is the sakshi. What is the sakshi? Atma is the sakshi. It is not the object. It is the sakshi. So by saying so, the fact, what you are saying, the idea that Atma is the object of I cognition, that has been refuted. That has been refuted. Okay. Then, so then what else? Nahi, further, aham pratyaya vishaya kartru vyatirekena tat sakshi sarva bhutastha samah ekah kutastha nityah purushah vidhi kande tarka samaye va kenachit adhigatah sarvasya atma. Nahi, further what is told. So this is not the only thing. Also, indeed, aham pratyaya vishaya kartru vyatirekena. Aham pratyaya vishaya kartru. So what is the object of the cognition I? That is the karta. Karta, agent. That is how they translate in English. Anyway, all English translations are all meaningless. But karta means one who thinks I am the doer. That karta, agent. How can you translate it as agent? one gets the idea, like newspaper agent, something. Very bad translation. Karta. And the problem with this translation thing is, once somebody started in some 19th century or something, or even before, then that just goes on. Atma is soul. One is left to wonder whether it is SOUL or SOLE, whatever. It is soul. And it goes on like that. So when we can Weltanschauung, we pronounce in German. Anybody who does not know German also wrongly everybody pronounces, mispronounces. But that is there. They never go for a translation. They'll keep no. It, meaning changes. Keep this. Entrepreneur. Again, nobody has got any clue how that has to be pronounced. And some people say entrepreneur, something they will say. But entrepreneur, and that also is a French word, and it has not been changed. It's just kept like that. Why should Atma be changed? Atman, why should it be changed? So here also, this should not be changed. It should be seen or used just like that. What is that? Kartru. Kartru means karta. A person who thinks that I am the doer. That person is the object, is the object of the knowledge I. That person is the object of the knowledge I. I knowledge, I cognition. It is not self or Atman, which is the object of I cognition. So aham pratyaya vishaya kartru vyatirekena means other than or distinct from the kartru, karta, who is the object of aham pratyaya or I cognition, tat sakshi, that is the witness of that. Self is witness of that. Witness of what? Aham pratyaya. Witness of I cognition. Sarva bhutastaha. Bhuta means living beings. It is indwelling in all living beings. Samaha, it is equal. It is not more in some place and less in some other place. Ekaha, it is one without a second. Kutastha nityaha, it is kutastha. Kutastha, immutable. It's immutable. And it is nityaha, eternal. It is nitya, eternal. Purusha, it is the self. Purusha does not mean ever. It doesn't mean man. So Purusha is the self. Vidhi Kande, that means Karma Kande. Vidhi Kande means the part of the Vedas which deals with injunctions, that you should do this or not do this. Injunctions, prohibitions, etc. That's called Vidhi Kanda or Karma Kanda. Tarka Samayeva. So in the portion of the Vedas which deal with rituals or injunctions of the rituals, Tarka Samayeva, or in the texts of Tarkika or Nayayika, logicians, people who practice logic, philosophy, people who have the practice of the philosophy of logic. That is Tarka Samaye. Samaye here means in the texts or in the books or treatises of logic. Kenachit, by anyone. So here, neither using the Karma Kanda of the Vedas or the portion of the Vedas which talk about injunctions and prohibitions, which talk about Vedic rituals, neither by that, nor by any text or book dealing with logic. Kenachit, by anyone, adhigatah sarvasya atma. So neither by anything has been, this atma has been seen as distinct something else from so here in the Vedas which deal with the portion of the Vedas which deal with Karma Kanda, or in the logic texts, nobody has seen self as distinct from kartru, karta, as witness, as present in all living beings, as one and eternal, immutable and equal. That means logic or karma kanda has not understood the self. That is the idea. Through that process of thinking, one cannot attain to the concept of self. But that cannot be denied. That self cannot be denied. What is told here? Ataha, therefore, saha na kenachit pratyakyatum shakyah. The idea is, you see, nobody has, means these people, this Mimamsaka. Karma Kanda means Mimamsaka and Nayayika. They have not talked of self as different from Karta and as present in all living beings, eternal, etc. So they have not talked about it, so they cannot deny also. They cannot obviously deny something which they have not talked of. So they cannot deny also, nor can it be treated, it cannot be treated as saha kenachit by anybody pratyakyatum na shakyah. Na kenachit pratyakyatum shakyah. It cannot be denied by anybody. Also, vidisheshatvam va netum. And also it cannot be treated as subsidiary to any injunction. Injunction, of course, here means it includes prohibition also. So, vidisheshatvam va netum na shakya. Means it cannot, it is not possible that one attributes the subsidiariness to this Atman. It cannot become a subsidiary to any injunction. Atmatvat evacha, and also because it is Atmatvat evacha, and it is the self, indeed it is the self. Sarvesham na heyah. This Atmatvat, it is indeed the self of all. And so na heyah, it cannot be heya, it cannot be rejected. The question is, who will reject? That's why here it is told sarvasya atmatvat evacha sarvesham. Sarvesham atmatvat. It is the self of all. Na heyah. It cannot be rejected. Because it is the self of all. Who will reject? Whoever will reject will have the self. The self belongs to that person, rejector. So how can that person reject? It will be like rejecting oneself. That is not possible. It's absurd. So that is why it cannot be rejected. Na api upadeya. With the same logic, it cannot be accepted also. It's like you are accepting yourself. Many people, of course, they appreciate themselves, but this does not work like that. You can praise yourself, you can do all those things, but you cannot deny or accept yourself. It is not possible. So, na api upadeya. You cannot either accept it or you cannot reject it. Sarvam hi vinashyat vikara jatam purushantam vinashyati. Sarvam hi, everything indeed, vinashyat is destructible. Vikara jatam, it is purushantam vinashyati. So everything is destructible. It is vikara jatam. It is subject to modification. And purushantam, purusha antam, up to the self, means still the self. That means other than the self, everything is destructible. Everything gets vinashyati, destroyed, perishes. Only the self does not perish. So vikara jatam, we know there are 6 kinds of modifications. Jayati, jayati, jayate is born. Asti comes into existence. Vardhate grows. Viparinamate changes. Different changes take place. Then jayate, asti, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, decays and nashyati, destroyed. So 6 modifications are there. Vikara jatam. Everything is subject to those modifications. And other than the self or up to the self, vinashyati, everything perishes. Purusha hai he, however, or indeed it is only the self which is vinasha hetu abhavat, because of it not having any hetu, reason for destruction. There is no reason or cause for the destruction of self. Avinashi, it is indestructible. It does not have a cause for the destruction of self. It does not have any cause which is destruction of self. That means it cannot have, it cannot be destroyed. It cannot be destroyed. Why it cannot be destroyed? Because there cannot be anything which will be greater than self. There cannot be anything which will be higher than self. There is nothing more ultimate than self. Like we say penultimate. The last one, the thing which is just before the last is called the penultimate. So ultimate. There is penultimate, okay, but ultimate is ultimate. So self is the ultimate, Brahman, Atman, whatever you call it. That is the ultimate. That is the highest. There is nothing more than that. There is nothing higher than that. And so it cannot have any cause for destruction. There is no cause for it being destroyed. So that is why it is not destroyed. Vikriya hetu abhavacha. And also it does not have a hetu or cause for it. Abhava means absence. It also does not have any cause for vikriya, modification. So not only does it not have any cause for destruction, it does not have any cause for modification, because again the logic is same. If there is a cause for modification, means it will get modified into what? And what will be there before modification? So again, it changes. If it changes, means then it is not real, it is unreal, so it cannot be. So that is the idea. There is no cause for it to be modified. Also, it is kutastha, it is immutable, it is kutastha, and it is nityaha, it is eternal. Ataha eva, and therefore indeed it is nitya shuddha buddha mukta swabhava. It is of the nature of nitya shuddha, eternally pure, eternally buddha, intelligent, eternally mukta, eternally free, ever pure, ever intelligent, and ever free. Tasmad, from that, this purushat na param kinchit. So therefore, tasmad, therefore, or thus, purushan na param kinchit sa kashta sa paragatihi. Kathopanishad, it is told, iti. It is quoted. Kathopanishad has been cited by Bhagavad Shankaracharya Deva. Purushat na param kinchit. There is nothing higher than param, higher than Purusha, the self. Sa kashta sa paragatihi. So that is kashta, that is the ultimate. That is the limit. And it is paragatihi, it is the highest gati, goal. Then again from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad he quotes, he says, Tam tu aupanishadam purusham prichhami. Tam tu aupanishadam purusham prichhami. I ask you, I prichhami, ask you, what? I ask you about aupanishadam purusham. Aupanishadam purusham. Tam, that self, purusham, which is aupanishadam. I ask you, Tam, I ask you what tam prichami. I ask you to tell me about the Aupanishadam Purusham, the Purusha or the self which has been described in the Upanishads. I want you to tell me about that. This is asked by the disciple, of course. Tam Tva Upanishadam. So I am asking you, Tva, I am Prichami. I am asking you, Tam, that Upanishad, that self which is talked of in the Upanishads. Please tell me about that. Iticha. This also is there. Aupanishadatva Visheshanam Purushasya Upanishadsu Pradhanyena Prakashyamanatve Upapadyate. So, what was the objection? The objection was it does not stand to reason. Anupapannam. It does not stand to reason that the Upanishads are the only texts which talk about self, because of course we all see the cognition, I cognition. So now, after having said that no, that I cognition is not Atman, that which sees is actually I cognition, that which has for its the object of the cognition of I, that is actually the doer, Kartru, and Atman or self or Brahman is just the witness. It is just the witness. So that is being told here. Aupanishadatva Visheshanam. So Visheshanam, Purushasya Visheshanam, the Visheshana or the adjective or the quality of Purusha, self. What is the quality? Aupanishadatva, that it is talked of in the Upanishads. This quality, Visheshanam, this adjective, this quality of the Purusha, of the self, Upanishadsu Pradhanyena Prakashyamanatve Upapadyate. Because in the Upanishads, Pradhanyena Prakashyamanatve, it has been Prakashyamanatve, it has been expressed Pradhanyena, mainly it has been expressed, primarily it has been expressed in the Upanishads. What has been expressed in the Upanishads? The self, the Brahman has been expressed in the Upanishads, primarily self is expressed in the Upanishads, Pradhanyena. So therefore, Upapadyate, it is indeed logical, or it is justified. What is justified? To say that Upanishads are the only place where self is talked of or Brahman is talked of. Why? Because mainly Upanishads talk only of self. They talk only of self. Ataha, therefore, Bhuta Vastu Paraha Veda Bhagaha Nasti Iti Vachanam Sahasa Matram. Ataha, therefore, Bhuta Vastu Paraha, something that is concerning an already existing entity, Bhuta Vastu Paraha, or that which is connected to, deals with an already existing entity, Bhuta Vastu Paraha, Veda Bhagaha, part of the Veda, Na Asti, does not exist, Iti, this Vachanam, this kind of statement, Vachanam, Sahasa Matram, it is just, it's what? It is just a, what is the correct word? Nerve. It is just a nerve. Means you have this nerve to tell this. That's all. It is just that you have sahasa. You have this nerve. Another word is temerity. So somebody tells something very hyperbolic, not hyperbolic, very tall claim they make. So we immediately say, see, the nerve. He has the nerve to tell this to me at my face like that. Or somebody says, hey, you are all fool, you don't know anything like that. Because in psychology, there is something called reverse psychology. Whatever a person does not have, that person sees other people not having that. Okay. So if a person does not have love, he will see or she will see all other people hating. Actually, that's not the problem with other people. You have that problem. So similarly, some people are simply not well versed in the headquarters. Headquarters, they don't have much. So then they see, look around themselves and they say everybody is a fool because head quarter only they have got. Quarter head they have got. So one Swami, very senior Swami, long ago, this Swami once told me this, headquarters, headquarter head, like that is a joke. So Shankaracharya uses such a strong language. He says, unlikely of Shankaracharya. He says, Ataha, therefore, Bhuta Vastu Paraha, that which is connected to already existing entity, Veda Bhaga Nasti. That there is no part of Vedas which deals with an already existing entity, Iti Vachanam, a statement like that, is mere temerity. It's mere Sahasa Matram. It's just some bombastic statement, that's all. Yadapi Shastra Tatparya Vidam Anukramanam, even though Shastra Tatparya Vidam of those also, Yadapi, or you can say also, Shastra Tatparya Vidam, those who know the meaning of the Shastras, means the Vedas, Anukramanam, they have this quotation, which is supporting, they support our stance. What is that? Drishto hi tasya artha karma avabodhanam. Drishto hi tasya artha drishtah hi tasya artha karma avabodhanam. So it has been seen that karma avabodhanam tasya artha drishtah. The purpose of Vedas is to avabodhana, give the knowledge or understanding of karma, sacrificial rituals. That means Vedic rituals. So the purpose of Vedas is to give us an understanding of this karma, Vedic karma, and that is what is told by people who follow Dharma Shastra. That means people who follow Mimamsa. Iti evam adi. In this manner, what happens? Tad dharma jigyasa vishayatvat. That is the vishaya or object of dharma jigyasa. So Mimamsa sutras begin with this sutra, athato dharma jigyasa. So this is the object or the area of dharma jigyasa, the desire to know dharma. And what is that? Vidhi pratisheda shastra abhiprayam drashtavyam. So that is drashtavyam, it should be seen as vidhi pratisheda shastra abhiprayam, as the abhipraya or the meaning or the import of shastra or scripture, which is of the form of vidhi and pratisheda, of the form of injunction and prohibition. So here the idea is, you see, whatever people are saying, all these our gurus have said, our gurus or people, great people have said, they are Shastra Tatparya Vidam. They are people who know the meaning of the scriptures, Vedas. So here you see Tatparya Vidam, people who know the meaning of the scriptures, etc., is an adjective given to Mimamsakas. So they are Mimamsakas. They know the meaning of the scriptures, etc. That is the idea here. So that is this people who know this particular meaning of all the scriptures, they also, they say, drishto hi tasya artha karma avabodhanam nama. So it is in the Mimamsa Sutra Bhashya, Purva Mimamsa Bhashya. So there, that Bhashya in the commentary, it is told that yes, we see that the purpose of the Vedas is only to understand the meaning of, or understand, get a knowledge of the rituals presented in the Vedas. So here, what is he saying? He is saying, you see, all these people whom you are following now, this Mimamsa, that is the Purva Paksha, opponent is following the Mimamsa Acharyas, right? Jaimini and the Bhashyakara, Shabra, etc. So the idea is that these people, they had no object of, they had no intention of going to the Upanishad at all. Because for them, Vedas were, what was the purpose of the Vedas? The purpose of the Vedas was to understand the rituals presented in the Vedas. That's all. So they never bothered about all this Atman, Brahman, Aikya, etc. They are not bothered about that. So they also are very clear. So there you have to see this Veda, that is the Veda, Karma Kanda Veda. That is what Shankaracharya is telling here. See, if you say that Vedas don't have any portion which talk about already existing entity, that is foolishness, because it is definitely there. Then if you want to follow people who are Shastra Tatparya Vidam, also we can safely conclude that Shankaracharya is hinting that they have spent a lot of time in analyzing the meaning, word meaning of the Vedas. That is a great contribution by Mimamsakas, which Shankaracharya just adopts that meanings, those meanings. So they, if we follow them, they say that, you see, drishto hi tasya artha karma avabodhanam. That purpose, artha, purpose of these Vedas are just to understand the ritual involved. That's all. That's all. And so tad dharma jignasa vishayatvat. And that is the object of, or it is the domain of dharma jignasa, the desire to know dharma. And so there you have to see these parts of the Vedas which are dealing with rituals as Vidhi Pratisheda Shastra, as scripture which talks about either injunction or prohibition. It has to be seen like that. So don't complicate things. That is the idea. Don't complicate things. Your acharyas also did not confuse here. They did not say that, you see, that it is not talking about pre-existing entities like that. You are making this wrong idea. Already existing entities, it is not talking. Bhuta Vastu, it is not talking. All this your idea. So it is there. So what we have to understand is that the portion of Vedas which deal with rituals, we have to just see them as the domain of Dharma Jignasa, that's all. As the domain of Dharma, the desire to know Dharma. So to know Dharma, of course, you study them and find out what kind of ritual they are talking about. That you do, there's no problem. That is how Shankaracharya is trying to reconcile it. He will further do it in the next portion also. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.